right, everyone, I'm Sabre, and this is Yada, and this is to the Sabre Show Live, where we control our own narratives and have the conversations that we need to have in order to empower our community. Now, I want to welcome our guests to the best show in the DMV. And please introduce yourself, DeAndre and Brianna.
My name is DeAndre Smith, or Dre Smith, or as people at Wise know me as Riverdale as well.
Yeah. And I'm Brianna Aponte, Dre's girlfriend.
She is.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know, me and Dre kind of go way back.
Yeah.
You know, I had to settle this in my mind that I was going to have to talk about something that I didn't want to talk about. So I know Dre because my 12th grade year in high school, I decided to try out for the varsity football team. But it's not what you think. It's not what you think. It was for extra. I wasn't trying to be like a linebacker or running back or anything like that. I was tried out to be the extra point field goal kicker. I guess I got bored with all the stuff. I made drum major at 11th grade. So I was like, you know what? I want to really challenge myself. Yes, I swear to God. I love it.
I just now find out about this.
Because I don't like talking about this.
I love it.
I really don't like talking about this. So at the time, Dre was the quarterback. I didn't know him that well, but we cordial, whatever. Yeah, that's how I know Dre. We went to high school together.
She actually was not bad. Sabre was actually really good.
I really wasn't. I made it all the way. I wasn't the first to get cut.
You were not the first.
I was not the first.
And you ran somebody over, too.
Who got cut before you.
Yeah, that is like, that went down to history, like on one of the hitting drills.
Yeah,
and I actually ran someone over.
Ran someone over. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Really
Does that count? I was over with the little guys. Did that really?
It still counts.
It counts.
Still counts.
Okay,
you're still a girl. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I would not recommend my daughter to do it, I did it, and it happened, and yeah.
for Riley.
No,
we're good.
If she really wanted to try, I would have to let her, but
Just hope it doesn't
I wouldn't
encourage her to do it.
No, now looking back when it was so dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone really wanted to, like, I'm gonna get her ass. They could really hurt me.
Right.
They could have.
You right on that.
But anyway, I want you, Dre, to talk a little bit about your business. It's All About It, LLC.
All About It, yes.
Please tell people about it, because we want to know all about it.
Okay, so All About It started when I was in college, the thought of it. So basically it's a meaning behind it. When I was in college, I asked my best friend, I said, like, what are you passionate about? And he said, football. And so I was like, why football? He was like, I love it. I can't imagine my life without it. Everything it has done for me. So after that point, for me being weird, I was just like, I noticed that after he told me what his passion was, he referred to his passion as it. I love it. I can't imagine my life without it. So then I began to ask other people, like, what are you passionate about? And whether it was art, photography, dance, accounting, marketing, after they told me what their passion was, they referred to their passion as it. So my company, All About It, is what I wanted to focus on. It's not all about the money. It's not all about the fame. It's not all about the accolades. It's all about it, which is your it, which is pretty much anything you want it to be. Okay. And actually, it's going to transform into something new. Okay. So I already manage one artist under my company's production and management company is what it functions as. Okay, cool. But it's actually going to pick up the branding and social media stuff too, as me and my beautiful other half are going to go into business together, and we're just going to encompass it all, because it all is for people pursuing the things that they're most passionate about.
Before I get to you, Brianna, I did want to ask you about what you just said. So is it just it functions as a management company, but is it only for entertainers, or is for authors, or what exactly?
It's for I want it to be everybody. Okay. So the advice I got was always, you need to focus on one thing first, and then you branch into other things. Right. But the ultimate goal is for it to help manage anybody who's pursuing anything they're passionate about. Because even, as you know, when it comes to running a business, if you're a photographer or if you're a model, you still need an accountant. You still need an attorney. Like, all these things kind of overlap, and you still could use the services of other people in other professions.
So you connect them to all these things that a person would need while pursuing their dreams.
Yeah, so that's what we want to do. And like I said, that's why me and Bria combining the branding and social media aspect of it, is because it's like at every part of the process, we just want to be able to help. Like I said, for me, it's always, I'm a music lover, and I love art. And I don't want it to be a thing to where you're just pursuing what you're doing for the money. Like, if you love to do something, you love to do it. If you're sitting there and you're a musician and you're playing show after show after show after show, and you make $60,000 a year, like, you're making $60,000 a year. You're doing what you love. You can work in a cubicle and make $60,000 a year, or you can just like play show after show and make $60,000 a year. It's like everybody is always shooting for the $1 million, but it's like you have people who love to do something, and you can make a decent living just doing what you love to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's an aspect of it a lot of people don't take into consideration, that, you know, because you see so many superstars that you feel like that's just, it's that or it's nothing.
Oh, it's
but
nothing.
It can
Exactly.
definitely be like in between, and you can still make a good living. That's actually it's very interesting.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It is. It really is, though.
Yeah. So what does your half bring? Like, what's the merger? So he does that portion, and let everybody know what it is. That
So it's funny because when I was in Cleveland, like I had my company Shameless Ladies, which is an organization for women to build confidence, look good, feel good, be the best version of themselves.
Yes.
And it started in Cleveland, and we expanded to a couple different major cities, DMV area being one of them. That's why I ended up moving here. And I was telling Dre, I'm like, I'm struggling. Like, I don't know why something is off with my company. Like, I just feel like I could be doing more or doing something else. And that's where, you know, Dre was like, Brie, like, you're a social media guru. Like, you know all the ins and outs of how to build a brand. My brand became successful just because of social media. Like, I had a full-blown facility. It was a dance, fitness, photography, glam, special event space. And I paid for no advertisement, no promotions, just my Instagram and building a brand through a movement that women kind of related with. And so I was like, okay, if I took my following from 2,000 followers to over 25,000 in 1 year, and now hitting my 50,000, I know. That's why when you said, I was like, I'll make sure I give you my card for this. But literally, it's I created a social media formula of like how to grow your following and how to brand yourself no matter what your passion is, which it was like, yo. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely love you, and I know we're together because we love each other, but it's like he has the other piece to like what it was that, you know, I was doing. It's like he's definitely the brains, the number guy, the strategy person, and I'm more of the creative, like, you tell me your vision and I'll turn it into reality type of thing. So, and it's funny because we literally just decided to make All About It the company on our way here, because we were trying to come up with the name for the branding, social media stuff. He was like, All About It, you know, we just decided on the way here, literally, like, that's going to be the name for it, and we're just going to transition his business into that, you know, full branding, social media, and management company.
Wow.
That's
that.
lit.
Congrats
This is like, yes, power couple in the making.
I mean, it's always important in relationships to give that one provides a part that the other person doesn't have, and then you bring it together. And that is just in one way how it does for y'all. But we'll get to the rest of that later. So let's run through. So you have a good view of our guests, and I hope you search their social medias that we'll leave below and really find out more of what they're doing and kind of keep up with what they're doing. But let's run through some topics really quick that we had to get to. You know, Michael Scott. Wait, is it Michael Scott that just got sentenced 24 years? The second-degree murder of, Walter Scott.
Yeah.
Yes. The guy who was running away from the police, who was caught on camera and was shot in the back. I think this was like a year or two ago.
Yeah, something just about.
Yeah, Michael Flager was the officer.
The officer got sentenced to...
Ray Soldier, he wasn't an officer because nowhere in the handbook...
Soldier. You know what I mean?
I know, but I'm just to clarify for the people, nowhere in the police handbook does it says to target people based on race. So that totally disqualifies him. He just got sentenced. So everybody's like on social media, Twitter, and all that stuff saying like, "Oh, we got a victory" or whatever. For once, an officer is actually being held accountable for, you know, taking a black life. I think that we need to wait and see that day come where he's actually behind bars, because you know how they are. This system.
a scenario where it's like, oh yeah, but he's like in some sort of like little
they
camp
get 20
situation,
right? 20 years of
You know,
house arrest,
right? And it's
Definitely.
never really like, oh yeah, he's in this luxurious, solitary situation where he's like, no, put his ass in gin pop and let him feel the burn. Like,
Yeah, well, so we'll see. I don't want to accept the victory too soon. So, but what do y'all think about that whole situation? That for once, literally,
finally,
a race soldier who committed a crime, who murdered a person, an unarmed person was running away. Tried to plant evidence on him. I mean, try to plant, the taser on him, saying, "Oh, he took my taser," and that was all the way. Oh, shout out to the barbers, by the way. I'm a barber, and a barber was actually the person who recorded the footage. He was walking away.
Yes, your profession.
So yes, shout out to my profession. We always got to make sure people are on point, whether it's legally or their everyday cut. Anyway, no, sorry, but no, seriously. So, what do y'all think about that? That a guy was finally,
held
convicted.
accountable for his murderous actions. Like, it's called what it is.
I think that it's, as you said, long overdue.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be a situation that occurs anyway. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It shouldn't be something to where, like I said, with a lot of these situations that are happening, especially with those people of color who have been getting just treated differently by police officers and stuff like that, that it shouldn't even be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Is that at the end of the day, we're all humans.
Right.
You should be accountable for your actions, whether
Right.
you're white, black, Hispanic,
Absolutely.
Asian, anything like that. And I feel like sometimes, depending on the situation, it can also be a distraction. Like, we need to know that that's not it. Like, the thing is that it's good that we have justice,
Right.
but justice is not the goal. The goal is for it not to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't be satisfied with, oh man, finally they got what they deserve. It's like, no, like it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Yeah.
We shouldn't just be happy with, having somebody going to jail for killing somebody. That person shouldn't have lost their life.
That's true. That is true. But for so long, like, we've been seeing situations where someone does. Unfortunately, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Some people going to kill. People going to do
they're always
things.
getting off.
But
always
we always are reprimanded for it. We always get our just due for doing the things that we do bad. But it seems like other people doing things against us, finally they're held to the same standards that we are held to, seemingly. So, so did you guys? How did you feel like when you heard that? Did you scroll in your timeline and see that?
So I'm honestly the worst person to talk to about stuff like that because I try not. I have such like a heart that I'm like, I hate to hear about the different things. I always think about each person in the situation.
That's true. Yeah.
And there's a lot, like, personally, like with friends that I know that have been killed, whether it was from police officers, was from a friend, on the streets, and it's so for me, it's like, what are we doing to kind of help the generations after us? Because we know that things happen every day that are unjust, and the legal system is just, not our best friend. But at the end of the day, sometimes we have to look at what we're doing as well. Things that put us in situations where, as a police officer, every day they're putting their life at risk. Yeah. And it's hard to see, people of color being hurt, being killed, being put in jail, and then there's not a consequence for the police officer. But sometimes we have to think about the police officer too, and they have a family they want to go home to, and the things that they deal with. So I just like try to stay away from it because I'm like, it sucks both ways. Yeah. And it's just one of those like touchy situations.
She probably doesn't know the details.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Just in general, in this topic in general, not even just specifically this case, but for me in that sort of circumstance, what bothers me the most is because absolutely I sympathize with a law enforcement officer because you have to make rash decisions and your life is on the line.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, it's the huge disproportion in action towards people of color versus people. Like anytime an unarmed black man can get shot, he's fleeing and you shoot him in the back and you murder him. But you have white suspects who are armed and dangerous, like they've taken police officers' guns and you apprehend them alive. Like that's a huge issue for me. Like that's the time when you should have feared for your safety. And he tried to take your weapon, or he had a weapon and you apprehended him alive, but you have someone who's fleeing, you don't see a threat, but you murdered him. Like that's the part that bothers me because I feel like that is a conscious choice at that point. Like
it's just not, it's not fair.
I mean, I always feel like the approach should definitely, because my football background, my being an athlete, should definitely come from that approach. So saying that you know Coach Parrish.
Yeah.
Like, being my football life, I had coaches.
I've
had coaches that have cursed me out, told me I was shit, like told me I was horrible. I can say that, right?
Yeah,
okay. Told me I was like a horrible, like suck, stuff like that. But as soon as we lined up against another team, it was us against everybody else.
Right.
So I'm saying from a sense that in our community, it's certain things that we need to address with each other.
Absolutely.
It's like, all right, you know what the situation is, unjust or not. You didn't put yourself in the best situation, but not saying as a collective, once it comes against like somebody getting unjustly shot or something like that, we should definitely show a uniform front and be like, that's not acceptable.
Right,
but we still need to address, like, there's some hard talks in our own community that we need to have with each other. It's like, all right, you can't be doing that. That's not smart.
In our own community, that's
right.
what's key, because let's not be on social media like, but what about black on black crime? And it's
Please
like,
don't be on social media.
Can we just like not coin that phrase
Yeah.
because we're really like the only race that says some stupid shit like that. Like, literally, murder is proximity based. Like all races murder.
Yeah.
But you don't hear people like, did you see the Hispanic on Hispanic crime? It's like, no, you don't hear that.
Yeah.
It's all in the area.
That was made that was made on purpose. That was made with the intent of criminalizing the group more than
and then
the other.
like to see our own people embrace it though is like so sick, and it's like, can you please like just not say that? Like, thanks.
See, they get it from the mainstream media, and a lot of people regurgitate what they hear. If you go on CNN, they're gonna, if anything happens with a black person and another black person, they're like, yeah, the black on black crime must be rising. But it's the same. Honestly, there are more white on white crime than there is black on black crime.
They just don't publicize it.
They have to criminalize us more. So when we're murdered in the media,
right? They put us on trial for our own murders,
right? It's justified. If you demonize a person or a group of people, and then something happens to them, people are like, oh well, they're dangerous anyway.
That's why when they dig up those mug shots or some real
from a traffic stop
picture of you when you was 18 smoking on Facebook or something like that versus the white girl who murdered 18 people. You to show her high school graduation picture, and, honor society and all that other stuff. But it's like,
even when they arrest them, it's like, we need to figure out why they did this or what happened, what went wrong. It's like somebody just shot up a school,
shot in the back, but he ran. But it's like them. It's like, young promising scholar, but crazy white chick killed 14 people for no last reason.
And that's
call it what it is.
And that's why it's important to control our own media and not rely on other groups to, control our narratives. And exactly, they're always going to do that, and it's always for a reason. But I was very pleased to see that scrolling down my timeline because I don't watch the news. Thank you, Ball Alert or Shea Moisture.
Ball Alert. That's like my number one news source now.
Yes, so much. So shout out to them. But that's how I seen it, and I was very pleased. But like I said, I always got one eye open with them because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see until he's actually there to see if this is actually gonna go through. Because a lot of times black people, we start celebrating too early. They get the charges, and they be like, oh, we celebrating.
That's so like what happened
with Oscar Grant. Like everyone was like, yeah, he got, and then he got like 2 years. He did like 11 months. I'm like,
exactly.
Really?
So yeah, he got charged with second-degree murder. So we'll see how that goes. So make sure we don't celebrate too early and focus on that.
I hope the prisoners are really friendly to you too.
They'll treat him. I hope he gets what's coming to him, just like everybody. I hope karma just works for them like it does for me and everyone else.
Every action has a consequence.
Every single one. So let's move on. On your bio in your Instagram, it says brand ambassador, which brings us to Shea Moisture. How's your experience been with them? We just were talking about them last week, actually.
It was great. So kind of a backstory.
Let everybody know. I follow you on Instagram, so I know. But let the people know about your relationship with them.
So honestly, it all came from Instagram. I wasn't signed with the agency or anything like that. The creative director, his name is Q. He found me on Instagram. And it was honestly one of the best experiences, like life-changing experiences for me, because I got exposed to so much. So I went up to New York. I think everybody just about did the shoot pro bono, like for free. Yeah. But it was just a great experience. And one of the best experiences was I got to talk to a guy named Mark. So Q was the creative director for Shea Moisture and Shea Moisture Men. But Mark is the creative director for Sundial Brands. So Sundial Brands is what Shea Moisture is under. It's a few other smaller brands. And I was able to talk to him about the commercial. and like their intent and where they was trying to go and what they were trying to do. And it was just so cool, like, to sit there and you see the controversy that happens with this ad and that ad, but sit to the person who was at the helm of able to, like, create it or control, like, what happened here or what happened there, and talk to him about it was cool. But it was a great experience, and with it coming out, nobody knew what it would do or how well it would do, and then November 1st, they released it, and then it got to like 64 million retweets on Twitter. So
let me interrupt you really quickly because y'all have this campaign for the beards and all that stuff. So I can easily tell you why they chose that market. Because as a barber, I understand. It could be dudes with like hair that grows like this, and they're like, keep the line high. You know what I'm saying? So I got my beard out. So if somebody told you that if you go to Shea Moisture and get this beard product and your beard gonna look like this,
you're definitely gonna buy the product.
Because oh my God.
Twitter is gonna be in a frenzy.
Oh my God. I have so many clients to be like, what can I use to grow my beard out, you know, thicker? I was like, listen, it's hereditary, number one. And two, you can only take care of what you got. But anyway, so I still think if they use this product that they're gonna grow a beard like that. And I think it's wonderful that they tap that market.
Exactly.
They tap that market.
Also, another question. Do you know, or are you still in contact with the other guys that were in the ad?
Yeah, so
I was like, where's Blood? And I was like,
I'm just messing with you.
No, so the thing is that first, what you said, I have a lot of guys that are asking me like, yo, what do you use for your beard? Like, what product should I use? And it's funny,
like
they say,
genetics.
it's funny, they say to grow my beard. I'm like, I mean,
it just
these
comes
aren't
out of
like,
my face.
like miracle products that make you grow hair. Like, it's to maintain the hair that you have. But I get people that ask, like, certain people's like, hey, I haven't been able to get in contact. I DM'd him. Do you know his number? Can you DM him for me?
God.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And, but no, me and the guys, like, a lot of guys, we have like a little group message with the creative director and stuff like that. And the Shea Moisture men page. So
really
I am in contact with a lot of the guys.
That is hilarious to me. Like, how you get your, you know, my jeans, like,
honestly,
comes out of my face.
But you know what? Guys are on that beard. Beard is trendy now.
It's
you know
crazy.
what I'm saying? So a lot of guys are like, I want to get my beard. So that was smart of Shea Moisture. But speaking of them doing business too, I just recently read an article that we talked about last week about them selling majority of their shares to Unilever. Are you familiar with that? You know about that? Oh, okay. So a lot of black people were just like, well, first, let's rewind back a couple months ago about that ad with the white people in it or whatever. I know you heard the flack about that.
Yes.
A lot of black people, do you use Shea Moisture products?
No.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll cut that out. So a lot of women more so, they were talking about, you know, hey, why is the products, you know, it's changing, it's drying my hair out, whatever. Then they see the ad with the white women in it, and they like, oh, hell no, they just used us so they can go to that market or whatever. Were you aware of that controversy?
Oh, yes, I was.
So what did you think about and were you part of the campaign back then?
I was not part of the campaign back then.
So what did you think about it though?
I thought.
And did you ask anybody in there about it?
I did. I asked.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting. Like, I always take those things with a grain of salt.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Rich, who is the owner of Shea Moisture, he is black. He's a black man.
Yeah.
He is.
And I talked to the content director about it, who's in charge of all that. And what he said made a lot of sense. And everybody may not agree with it, but it's a thing of Shea Moisture is a business, right?
For sure.
And as a business, you want to continue to grow. And you have your core market, which is the pretty much African American women. But if you want to continue to make more money and continue to grow, you have to expand markets. Right. Now, was it effectively portrayed or shown in their marketing? No, I think that's where they feel like they failed. But do they feel like they still want to expand? Probably. And the way I look at it is that if you look at any relationship, no relationship is perfect. You know, people will make mistakes. Even the person you love the most, they'll have missteps in judgment to where it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But the reason you call them misstep in judgment is because they've shown that they've been consistent for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's all it was. It was more of like, from talking to the content director himself, it was like, all right, what we were trying to do, we weren't trying to, like, our core, like, we know where our core is, and we're always trying to gear everything to our core, but the thing is that we're trying to grow 500 million business into possibly $1 billion business or a $700 million business,
and it's like what we said,
we're trying to expand and trying to go, but still keep our core.
Right, business is business, and I understand that. That it definitely was like probably shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, I understand the logic.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's that's your business. I can't be like, oh no, like don't make more money or don't grow. It's just that step kind of lost some people.
See, they didn't dove the situation. However, that wasn't my issue. My issue wasn't the ad. I'm like, okay, they're advertising to white people. So be it. Contrary to popular beliefs, I don't hate white people. You know what I'm saying? So
water down your product.
That's
man.
all I was saying. So most people had an issue with the ingredients. Like, if you keep your core products the same and add new products,
don't water down what you have. Because now it works for them, but it's not working for me anymore.
Exactly, because we have different needs than white people have with their hair. They need less moisture. We need more moisture. So the same products, and they just was changing the names and changing the ingredients. But
Shea Moisture.
Exactly. And it was drying a lot of black women's hair out.
Dry my hair out and you call it Shea Moisture. How does that work?
Now it's just Shea.
And I think that's important is you have to hold people accountable.
Yeah.
And if nobody ever said anything back or said anything, like they probably wouldn't change it back or do what they need to do. So it's important to hold people accountable, but it's also understanding that, these are our black businesses and they want to grow. It's like if you use Pantene for color, it's like that's not a black company, but you'll sit there and buy that. But it's like they can expand and use both black and white products. But then when our black companies are trying to grow and trying to as much as I
get mad because they're going after the white dollar, but
the white dollar goes after us. They go after us.
Yeah, as much as I love, say like an Oprah or something like that. Yeah. If her show was on BET, she wouldn't be who she was. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had to expand in other markets to grow and to make money.
I don't think that wasn't really the issue, because if you really think about it, a lot of companies that we use that have for curl and shine, for moisture and this, they was like Pantene that makes natural hair products. These other white companies, they take our money because they notice the market. That's business. Yeah. So they notice the market. That's when you try to tap into it. Respect. Yeah. It was just about the product change. And this change, it changed from your core. It's like, okay, you don't care about your core's needs anymore. Then that was the thing. But I have no problem getting white money because they get our money all the time. So yeah. But so you did really well on that. Good relationship with Shea Moisture.
DMs are crazy. DMs are really crazy.
Yes. So what was in the news that you want to talk about?
Oh my God. So I gotta come and bring the shenanigans and whatnot. I don't know if y'all saw this whole Drea debacle.
The child.
Oh my God. And how she did her son, and I swear, social media butchered this child, and I was just right there with my hee-hees and my
what happened?
So apparently her older son, Nico, has like this project 4-minute speech that he has to memorize for school, and like his teacher is like sends this form home every day, like your mom has to sign it saying that you practice 5 times a day. Or however many, frequency. So he's actually doing it. Like, hey, how many kids would be like, oh, I did it, Mom. Like, he's actually doing it. She's like, goes on social media like, look, let's discuss. Okay, so she has him harassing me. The teacher has my son harassing me. Like, I'm tired of hearing the speech. I feel like I'm memorizing it. So I told him I'm not signing it anymore. So he didn't get his paper signed one day. He went to school and he didn't get the grade points for that. So he texts his mom like, really, Mom? Like, I didn't get my grade points. You didn't sign it. She got an attitude with the teacher like, sis, but then came and wrapped us up about it. Like, you put a whole paragraph on Instagram. Homework. It's not my homework. Like, put a whole paragraph on Instagram. Sweetie, you could have signed 50 cards in the time it took you to wrap us up to tell us this. Like, you could have just signed. I don't care. Let him think you're listening and tune him out. I don't care. But that's your son. You don't let your son take an L in school and he's like, that baby trying to get a good grade.
Especially when he's trying.
Right, he's trying and you're just tired of signing it because, like, you're so busy, with your twerking and your and so they like literally like butchered sis, and it was like they had like a hashtag Ask Drea on Twitter, and oh my God, someone was like, does your son have to contact you through your booking email? And then somebody else was like, this isn't even a question, I just want to formally let you know that you have a son. Like, I felt so bad, but then again I don't, because it's like, you're like, yeah, what do you guys think? Like, don't run this past us. This is your kid. Be his mom. Sign his papers. Keep it moving. Like,
I agree 100%. It's
like,
not that. It's not that hard. Like, it's not like you said. It's not like he wasn't trying to do his work. Sign the damn paper.
Right. And everyone's like, he don't know how to forge by now. I'm like, is this what we doing now?
Right.
Now we just encouraging forgery with our kids. Like, dude, it takes you like the quickest of. And sign the paper, like, come on, lady, like, what are you doing?
She is not a representation of most black moms. I just want to throw that out there.
Her, like, I don't think it means she doesn't care. She's just, ma'am, no, no. Like,
we all get overwhelmed at times, but she really had confidence that nobody would give her backlash.
It's like, right? It's like really like, okay, first of all, you know, you like someone said on social media, like, your son's been training for the Hunger Games for a long time now. Like, you pretty much, there was like the whole situation back in the day where they were like, you're leaving him at home with TV dinners while you leave for days at a time.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and now it's kind of. Then we saw your Thanksgiving meal on Snap, so we really know that you're trying to kill these kids. Like,
what was her Thanksgiving meal?
It was the food that nightmares are made of. Like, it was fucking awful. Oh my God. Like,
was it
first
like
of
her
all,
diet
like,
stuff?
No, she was like making like mac and cheese, but it looked like it had like chicken tenders in it or something. It was like, why is your mac and cheese?
Wow. That's
sound like potato chips. Like, it was like, and she's just cooking on Snap, but you can't sign your son. Really? Right. You can cook this awful meal on Snap. And she marinated her turkey in champagne. Like, your son is drunk.
We were just talking about how hard it is to consistently post on social media. But if you can do that, you can sign a paper.
Yeah. Right. Like, literally, you went on a rampage to us. It was like a whole, like, you know, we're from BG County, and it's a whole ECR. Yes. A whole paragraph of information in this. I mean, like, it was so long of a paragraph. But she screenshotted his text and everything. So you just going to embarrass this man on something? Really, Drea? Come on, man.
So, what, we talked about this earlier, but when do y'all want to have kids?
She wants to have kids 30. At 30.
Okay, at least 30.
I'm a little earlier.
A little earlier?
Like yeah. Maybe like 28. Like,
and let them know how old are y'all now?
I'm 24.
25.
Okay. Why you're right. Why so...
I want to start practicing at 30. Like, it's not even like I want to give birth at 30. I feel like let me explain, because once we have them, I want to like pop them out. So like by 33, 34, we'll have our 3 biological children, and then I want to adopt 3 from 3 different countries.
Damn, okay.
And Dre has already agreed, so he can huff and puff as much as he wants. That's what we're gonna do. He's already.
The babies are some dresser drawers, girl. It's like it's time for bed.
Take it one baby at a time.
Yeah, we already talked about like what car we need to make this happen for travels. Like,
that sounds like a party bus.
I just want at 25. I feel like I have a lot that I still want to accomplish, and I feel I love him, and I'm selfish to him. Like, I want to spend, I want to get my time with him. We are not engaged yet. We're not married yet. So like being engaged is a whole new process. Being married is going to be a new process. Getting our first home, getting our first, all that stuff is process. Like, I want to enjoy that. And then when we're good, we've done traveled and did everything we wanted to do, together, then we can start adding additions to the family. Because I'm one of those people where I feel like once I have a baby, like, I don't want to always worry about a babysitter and this and that, and like we have to I want to include my child, so I feel like we should do things together and alone first, and then we experience that with a family. And my mom was very, very young when she had me and my brother, and she, it's like I know what it's like to have kids younger. I just want to live my life before I have to live my life for somebody else.
Understandable. Absolutely.
I mean, me, I think it's because maybe I'm a year younger, too. I'm just like...
we're never going to get there, man.
I'm just like, I just want to be able... I feel like a lot of guys are like this. Like, I want to be able to play basketball.
Look at you. You are fine.
I want to be able to do... It's like you just
you're 24. Like 30 for her is going to be 29 for you, but you'll still be... You're not going to be creaky bones Jones.
It's different if he was 30 now, and he's like, oh, come on, babe.
But you made a good point, though, that, how long have y'all been dating?
It's... officially 7 months. Like,
we started talking in March.
Okay,
and knew each other since last September.
Right. So she made a good point. you guys are not engaged yet, you're not married yet, so you
It's a
have to have
process.
time for that.
Definitely.
And so
So
He like, but then you know what's up? Like,
He'll have 3 little ones running around by the time he's 35. That's all he needs to worry about.
so he just going that them runs right out.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fine.
But you know what? That's why
good.
y'all have time to set up, so y'all can work from home. Y'all have that
Oh, yeah,
flexibility,
definitely.
and
That's
that is
the
really what's
plan.
necessary.
Yeah.
God bless that though.
Yeah.
'Cause, phew,
I feel
that
so
kid's
bad for people like both their parents have to work 9 to 5. That's a lot of time.
But here's the
And-
thing,
and
even right
daycare.
now, like
gotta tell
preaching
me
to
that shit.
preaching to the choir, sir.
And
no,
I'm hearing
even-
them prices. I'm like,
Would you want to be a
leasing
stay-at-home mom?
well, so that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Like, even right now, like I only work from home. Like I work on my business 24/7, so I'm home. It's hard to do business and still do like the cooking and the cleaning type stuff. And Dre's very helpful. Like if I need help, he'll help too. But I'm like, I couldn't imagine doing this and having little ones running around. Like the little messes that he leaves, I'm like, oh my god, the house is a mess.
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine if there's little kids. Like I don't have enough
these
time.
damn
As
dishes.
women, exactly. And as women, it's not just like we have to get up, we have to work out. You know what I mean? We have
Yes.
to. Hygiene takes a long time. Like
Yes.
if I want to get up and actually look presentable, it's like once you break down the hours that you spend doing things for other people and other stuff, it's like
Yes.
my me time is so cut, and then I still have to do my business. I still have to work.
Right.
That is so true.
He don't, okay.
Because women,
She dropping all these facts on you, bro. What you
that's
got?
facts.
What you got?
And speaking from
got?
experience,
Hey.
because I'm a mom and I work for myself, it's a lot. It is very demanding because we have more demanded of us than you guys do. That's
Yes.
just the way it is. We
Yes.
have to make sure food is cooked. We got to make sure it's clean. We got to make sure the children are taken care of. Our bodies are taken care of. You know what I'm saying? The shape and all that. And the kids are taken care of. And that we still have time for y'all.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you
It's a
want that
lot.
little pinch of time for yourself. So no, I definitely understand.
I was in the bathtub trying to relax today. He comes in with his laptop. Like, babe, let me show you. This is new software. I'm like, what's a girl?
But the thing is that the way I feel like we were created is like us as men wouldn't be able to take that on. Like I don't think we're capable.
Thank you for saying
Take
that.
that.
Right.
Take that long.
With that
of
being
taking
said,
that on. We're not
30.
capable of being able to juggle that much. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's like women, you guys are so good at being able to multitask and do things at once, and it's greatly appreciated. But knowing me
But
as
it's like
as
what
a
came
man, it's
first,
like
the chicken or the egg? Like, are we like that because we had no choice, or we do it because we're good at it? Like, how did we get good? Like, you gotta just.
I think that's just, in my opinion, I feel like that's just the way that men and women were created.
Okay.
That like women, like most women I know, they're just. That's why I see a lot of women, even assistants, or a lot of guys they hire women because when it comes like sometimes guys can kind of be big picture, but when it comes to like doing stuff like as
the
far as like
details.
knocking it out, it's like. I don't know what I'm doing here, but then like she can pick up something. It's like, all right, this is what I see. This is the business. She can knock out every single task that leads up to getting it there. To where me, it would just be hard for me to get started. Like, how do I do this, or where do I get started?
I don't think that's a man woman thing. That's like practice. That takes lots of
practice.
practice.
Yeah.
Lots of, but I guess it does come a little bit.
I feel like
It
she
comes a
kinda
little
wins
more
on you.
natural
I feel
Yeah.
like
to women.
I feel like she won this though. Like she. Like,
I want it. We should like.
She's like, I want
We should
it.
write up the contract right now. And
She
just
got
start
like she came
30.
with the like, hey, look, man, because I got bam, bam,
Yes.
bam. You
No,
just
it's
like,
true,
man,
but you know what?
I
It's
do
important.
contribute. I contribute.
and that's what
from-
Oh no, but I mean, like she has her argument is sound though. Like I'm like 30, girl, like shit, like you know.
And
Like,
you already know it's important that you already even know those challenges. Most people
Yeah.
just like, I need to be married, I need to have 3 kids, I need to have 3 businesses, and they're not thinking about all that comes
How you
with that. So
balance
you
all of
already
that
know
stuff.
Yeah,
that
it's
what
a
it takes
process.
to balance
It's-
that.
It's a process, definitely.
Yeah, and isn't it ironic how the men are, like you said in the video, and we'll talk about that later, the leaders of the relationship, but we have the bulk of the responsibility, and y'all there to assist. I guess y'all spend all that time leading. You know what I'm saying? No, but I understand that balance, and I mean it's very important.
yeah, it's good to acknowledge that beforehand though, because a lot of people just have to juggle it because they don't have a choice. You know,
Yeah.
you're in it, and it's like shit, I got to do it now.
Yeah.
But it's like to kind of be proactive and know, like, you know, hey, I'm not trying to do that just yet. I want to do this, and this first. I mean, can't knock that at all.
And it helps to have a team too. And even when and not to minimize y'all assist, because I know my boyfriend makes a lot I do possible because of the assist. So that works out too.
Facts.
Now, worth the wait. Tell us about, well, I know about Worth the Wait. We watched it. You guys should go check it out. It's on YouTube. Worth the Wait with 2 E's.
Say that.
Jewels in that
Dropping
thing,
jewels in
though.
there.
Like, oh, just ting, ting, ting. I was like, okay,
Yes.
okay.
And the premise
Quotables.
of the series is talking about them waiting to have sex before marriage. Because I was making sure, because y'all could have been like, we Worth the Wait, and we just waiting to open a bank account.
No, for real. The questions, like,
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I got
Like, what are y'all really waiting
How, Sway? How? Because for one, let me just start. Okay.
Here we go.
I definitely saw your dance videos, sis. How? Like, do you just block her on Instagram? Because there's no way in hell, and I don't even like girls, but bruh, I was like, okay, she was just, I was like,
let me drop
damn,
a
girl.
disclaimer. Let me drop a disclaimer.
She's goofy.
I'm not that person in the dance. Like, when I teach my classes, like, I get comments all the time. People come up to me and they're like, so I heard, like, you don't have sex with your boyfriend. Like, how? Like, you're so sexy. And I'm like, yo, I'm not this person I am in class. Like, when I'm in class, I'm shameless. But when I'm home, I'm Brie. And Brie is not sexy. Brie is
like,
not
God
a
damn,
sex,
girl,
like,
okay.
symbol. No, I'm so goofy, so silly. Like, it will be times where he'll come up to me and he'll try to, like, be whatever. And I'm just so goofy that it's like I'm not that person that you see on the videos, basically.
Got you.
So,
Okay.
Because you was playing or whatever, and I was like, hey.
I mean, the thing with us waiting, right? People always ask, like, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? And I think the other day I was having dinner with some friends, and it was, like, perfectly explained. She told me that she was pescatarian, isn't that what it's called? She doesn't eat meat. She just eats seafood. Yeah. And she was asking, she was like, how do you not have sex? How do you not do it? And I was like, why don't you eat chicken? She was like, well, I mean, it's the decision that I made for blah, 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 blah. I was like, when it comes to us not having sex, it's the same way. When it's a decision that you make for a specific reason, and you really believe, like, yo, this is why I want to do it, then that makes being disciplined about it a lot easier.
So is it like, it's like all, like everything, or is it
No,
like some like,
oral,
like some outer course going on, like
Some outer course.
What are we doing?
Not intercourse, but outer course.
Like some,
Nothing, yo.
that's funny.
She's the queen of punchlines. By the way.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
because I'm like, y'all are like so cute. Like y'all are like cute as a unit.
No, he's
like,
fine as ish. He walk around with his shirt off. His pants never stay all the way up, so I'd be like, Dre. But it's one thing, like what he said is, it's like I made a decision to wait before I knew that I was going to wait with him.
Yeah.
We made it
I just
separate.
made a decision that I wasn't going to do it for my reasonings. When I met him and when we really was like, when I found out, because I was afraid to tell him, because I was like, he's not going to talk to me. Because the first time we met was completely different than like the time that we like was actually getting to know each other. And I knew I was moving and it was like, oh, this thing could be something. And I was afraid to tell him. But once I did and found out it was the same with him, it was like, within a couple of months, like, I was like, oh my God, like, I know this is my husband. Like, I love him. He's my best friend. I could wait 10 years and not touch him and still be happy with just being with him. And even to the point where it's like, I think we think so much about sex because we're used to it being a normal thing that we do. Yeah. So if you're doing it at a young age, you're used to this feeling and you think you need that to have compatibility or to have intimacy with somebody. Like, we are so intimate with each other, just not physically. Like, we can snuggle, we can kiss, we can have conversation, and like that's intimacy to us. And when you feel that and you have that for the first time, it feels a lot different. Like, I'd rather have that over sex, because sex happens, it ends, and then you're like, okay.
So where's the line? Like, where's the line? Where's it like, okay, we can't do that because that might lead to this?
The only thing that we don't do at home is, he thinks that we
have
can.
two things.
French kissing.
She don't let me, like, I'll try, but then she'll stop me.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
then,
pregame for sex.
Yes,
Why
for
would
sure,
you tongue me
100%.
down?
So she says that, right? She says that, right?
Yeah.
But then she be like, why can't we take showers together?
No, that is abuse to a man.
Wait.
That's worse than the damn time.
Exactly.
Wait, no, let me explain. Because
Why can't
you're
we take
thinking
showers?
nasty off
She's
rip.
like, we're trying to preserve water bill.
No, not even that. We be having to go. I'm like, it was like one time where I'm like, can I hop in with you? Like, I just gotta like shower.
That is abuse.
So at the end of the day, no, if you're in the shower with somebody, you can't just like slip it in there. Like, it don't just happen.
Yeah, but you damn sure get the hell out of the urge.
No, right. This is my thing. If we can walk around naked, if we can have our bodies on each other and we don't do anything, if we can be in the bed and I'm basically in nothing, you're in nothing,
Yeah.
and we don't have sex. Like, what's the difference from a shower? It's like I'm cleansing my body, you're cleansing your body. It's like
now you're glistening. Like,
but it's like, look, okay, so tell me this: would you be able to start having sex with somebody if all you could do is peck them? If you did not French kiss, how would you get into having sex if all you could do is?
That's true.
That's weird, right? That's weird.
But that's for
but I mean, if they look bomb, though, you just be like, yeah.
No, because he walks back. We see each other naked all the time. So it's like, even in the shower, like it's not like I'm over there, you're over here, and it's like, ooh, I want that. It's like we're right here, and we're in the shower.
Yeah, but now you're glistening.
I feel like if you're
glistening now, it's something about the glisten that just adds to the.
I'm over trying. Whatever. I'm over trying.
It's like,
I think it's a men's like fantasy.
It is. It's that whole.
Minds are different because I talk to my boyfriend about certain things. I just like, what? Like, how did you get that from that? I don't know, I'm just a man, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I have on these baggy, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they don't care.
Shirt. Oh, but you can see the silhouette like that. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So
he's like, I mean, yeah.
You don't care.
So some things that I just can understand how he can think that because I don't understand. I just know that their minds are different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think the main thing though is like we don't French kiss, and French kissing is like if you're in the bed, you're in the couch, whether you're standing in the kitchen.
No, that definitely is like
you get hot and heated in. Like I actually looked it up, and the exchange of saliva from a man to a woman is what raises your hormones, and like that is the number one thing that makes you in the mood, horny, whatever. So it's like when he doesn't understand, like when he tries to slip a little tongue, I'm like, get off of me, because like I will hop on you and it will be over, and I know I don't want to do that. So stop doing that. So that's our main thing. Like we just don't French kiss. French kiss is like the for me.
So what's the hardest challenge that you guys face? The hardest challenge that you face to wait?
I say to wait. I was gonna say financial differences, but that's our like I don't think it's hard, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is it for religious reasons?
For me, for her, it wasn't necessarily. It was just from bad experience upon bad experience upon bad experience.
Gotcha.
Mine was a mix of that. It was bad experiences, but that was my upbringing.
Yeah.
And then my experience is like everything. Every time I did things according to, I guess, God's word, it turned out even better than what I thought it would be. So that's why I decided to do it. And at the time, it's funny how I just share this little part. Is I made a commitment January 1st. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then, like, I was like, I don't have a girl in sight. Whether it's going to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I'm willing to wait. So then I went down to my school, James Madison University, and this girl saw me. This girl saw me, and it was like I always say a regular, like somebody. I was back in school.
Oh, I already know about them.
We
shout her out, Dre.
No,
she is.
When I was back in school, it was a regular thing, you know what I'm saying? And she hit me up about 1:30, 2 o'clock Saturday night, and she was like, "Yo."
The lit line. The lit.
But she was like, she was like, so you trying to come over, blah, blah. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that no more. She was like, was this for Lent? And I was like, nah, it's like till marriage. And she made some convincing arguments, but I was just like, nah, I can't do it. And I just sat there, was like, wow, like I'm really doing this. Next day, she texted me. Ain't heard from her since last September.
It was like,
So
it's like a hey big head or what?
It was an apology.
With an emoji eyes.
Okay.
Similar type thing, but it was like, but it was just like that was my experience as far as waiting, and it's just it's been easy from then pretty much ever since.
Can I ask you this?
Yes.
So I understand that you guys knew each other prior to reconnecting and being celibate until marriage or waiting until marriage. Have y'all ever? This is you don't have to answer that.
No, we're gonna answer.
No, we can answer
the first time that
honest.
I met him, he was supposed to be like a one night stand situation.
Okay.
I lived in Cleveland. I had a boyfriend and he cheated on me.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming down to DC. My boyfriend was supposed to be with me, but I just found out he cheated on me. So I'm like, screw you. I was in the moment of like breaking up with him. Mm-hmm. And as girls, I think this is one of the reasons why I chose to want to wait to marriage, because we let that affect our emotions, our heart, our mind. And it's like, so at this point, I hadn't had sex with like other people. It was like I had boyfriends and consistent relationships. And I was like, you know what? I was 23 at the time. I'm 23 and I'm like, I'm gonna just explore and like just, dudes want to do this to me. They want to, do whatever. And I'm like, I'm just gonna do what I want. So he was supposed to be that guy. Like my friend had hooked me up with him. Like she was like, he's a great guy and he was so nice. I thought he was like thirsty and extra because I wasn't used to a man treating you like a woman. And that night that I had first met him, we went out, we got really drunk, and we had like a very blurred night. That weekend afterwards, like he took me on a beautiful date, which now I appreciate. But back then I was like, he's so extra. I'm like, he just want to, he just want to get the again. So when I left, like we hadn't spoken to each other, and then that was my first text to him was like, hey Dre, it's Bree from Cleveland. I was like, I just decided I'm moving to DC. I just really don't want any bad blood. I feel terrible about how the way I left, and I had no intentions on dating him, being with him. I just felt bad because I left and like blocked him from my phone, from my Instagram, because I went to go be back with this douchebag dude that I was with. And I just felt bad because I never even had a conversation with him. I never said like, thank you for taking me out and showing me a good time. I think I felt bad as a girl. Like I felt like, dang, like am I a HOE? I'm like, am I like, why would I do that? Why would I just want to go be with some random person? And then later down the line to realize like that guy treated me really well, and I didn't even have the decency to say like, hey, I'm gonna go back to my old situation. Thank you. So that's how we reconnected.
So blurred.
Oh yeah, no, like we remember a position because a friend had opened a door. But other than that, like I woke up and we really looked at each other like, did we? It was kind of unsure.
It was.
We were told.
There was a place called Bar 7.
Okay.
If you ever heard of it in DC. And Bar 7, I think it's closed now, but they used to have open bar from 10 to 11.
Yeah. Okay.
So we all got there. It was a group of us. We got there at
10:45,
and we had maybe about 45 drinks within that point. Like we would just like pour them up, and we all got so lit. And like I said, we did mess around. But that's the thing is like she was from Cleveland. It's like I live in DC.
Yeah.
She's going back. I had a girl that I was talking to who I thought was going to be the one at the time, even though it was really early. And we were just like, it was what it was, and then never heard from each other after that weekend. So it was just like.
And what's funny is that weekend, like I spent all my time talking about my ex-boyfriend, and he was like, adamant about the girl that he was dating. Yeah. So it's like we didn't even have. It wasn't like we gonna do this thing. It was
but
like
you were dating the girl. You took her out on a date.
I wasn't dating her.
He wasn't dating.
Oh, okay.
He's one of them good guys. Like, if I'm getting to know this girl, I don't want to step over here.
Yeah. No, I wasn't like I've never been the player type.
Yeah.
So it was like a girl. Like I thought. Like I did my running and gunning in college. Like I did a lot. So
I know about that. My boyfriend went to college and played football. So I know about that little college.
We know about that.
Football, but
I did my running and gunning, but I've always been that guy that's like, it has to be amazing to find this one girl that you want to spend the rest of your life with over everybody else. So I was always in search of that. So I saw somebody and I was like, yo, she's appearance wise, she's what I want. Like we had our first date and it went well. So I was like, yo, I'm just gonna focus on this chick. But then it was like she had came down. And I was like, all right, I'll entertain whatever. I didn't think that we were going to end up getting drunk and doing whatever.
Doing whatever.
Doing whatever. So
yeah, it's like.
Girl. No, it wasn't your life. It wasn't for you, sis. Sorry.
Okay. So you already talked really about why y'all chose each other, but I want to give y'all a little relationship quiz, and you pitch in with the questions as well. Ooh. The first, this is, and like I said, just to remind you, check out their YouTube series called Worth the Wait, with 2 E's, Thee.
Yeah.
Lot of good information in there.
Yes, like whether you're single or in a relationship.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship, you can relate. Even if it's like, we clearly have sex, we have a daughter, but certain things of being intimate without being physical, all of those things are important. Honestly,
I like the part about
dating
yourself
and
the self-reflection. Because a lot of people don't do that. They get out of relationships And they jump right into another situation,
Yes.
but they haven't even like stopped to figure out what went wrong in the first one, or you know what they're dealing with,
And
what kind of
reevaluate their own
residual
self.
issues they had, and they took with them, and you just carry that baggage from one situation to the next, and the same thing happens over and over again. So it's
That was
like
the first episode, by the way.
you're the you're the common denominator. You got to kind of just check yourself out. So I really that a lot of
that
people
was great
need to-
advice about being single properly.
I'm tweeting the link because I know some people.
But yeah, I mean, if you so choose to wait, even if you don't choose to wait, it's still a good video to watch. Okay. So this one is about social media. Y'all both really popular on social media and very active. So what do you guys? I know y'all see the thirsties in the comments.
Yeah, with them DMs being
and the DMs and that stuff. So that just comes with the territory. That's whether you're, you know, that's just regardless of anything, but especially if you're attractive people, which you both are. How do you guys feel about each other's so-called thirst traps, but the thirsty people in the comment section?
We laugh at it.
We laugh. That's one of the number one things I love about her and love dating her is that people out there, if you ever dated someone who's very secure, it's one of the best relationships because you don't have to worry about all that small stuff like who you texting or like let me see your phone or what these girls. It's like somebody DM'd me and was like, "Oh, your girlfriend was having an affair with my husband." I was like, highly doubt it. And like he was like, no, it's like
we get some weird
stuff, and it's just like for us
weird as shit. Like seriously, like what?
And for the direction that we're going, we know that it's going to be
a part of it.
It's going to be a part of it. Like especially when the ad came out, like Lord, oh my God.
Yeah, somebody's gonna throw shade. Somebody got to put a dirty cup in the Kool-Aid and just mess it all up.
First of all, for some of you women out there, the men. For some of you men out there, don't take that as everybody need to be like Brianna. No, don't do anything to cause that insecurity. That's key.
Yeah,
right, absolutely.
And I mean, it's even to the point where like our separate Instagrams, like we try to keep each other off of our personal Instagrams. Yeah. That's why I created the one because for what he's trying to do, what I'm trying to do. It's always like if he posts a bunch of pictures with me, he loses female followers. Right. And for what he's doing for the companies that he does the brand ambassading for, a lot he can show his statistics of like this is how many female followers I have. So something like Shea Moisture, because they cater to women. The men's line is new. Him promoting the brand when all of his followers are women, it helps Shea Moisture out. So for him to have that and for my following to be majority men, it gives us a different platform. And we know that if we want to express our love and things for each other, like our social media is more for business. It's not for you to be in my life or whatever. That's why we created Worth the Wait, so that you guys can enjoy us together. But even when I first met him and we wanted to grow his following, I'm like, don't post pictures of me because girls will stop following you. Because I'm so, like we're so secure in our relationship as like, it doesn't make a difference whether a picture is up or not or whatever. Like we're good. So I think again it comes with the communication, the trust, and the reason we got to that point is because sex wasn't in our relationship. So we built trust other ways.
That is like honestly like a super huge. That would take like I gotta give you that though. That takes like a huge like maturity. Conflict out of the situation because it's like that's really where a lot of that shit stems from. So you have that drama, it's because I'm sleeping with you. Who you sleeping with? It's like you're not. You love me and we're not doing it. I know you're not hitting nothing else. So boy, like
that's the thing. It's like
we're gonna play that game, boy. Like I'm playing PlayStation.
If you think that I'm gonna be. I haven't even touched what's at home. I'm gonna be out doing something.
Right, sampling randoms like no, like you know what I'm saying. So that kind of does make sense though. So I mean, and now definitely build that level of security like beyond just the average because it's like. Somebody said something like that. You're like, girl,
right? And don't give the person a reason because
that's very true. That's the biggest.
That's
point.
important because if he ever, Lord forbid, if he ever gave her a reason, then those comments
completely
would be
different.
questionable.
Oh yeah. So and men do have a habit of doing that though. They will give you every reason in the world to be insecure and then butcher you for being insecure. Like, exactly. You did this.
And that's like I'm doing a video on niggas and they shenanigans because they don't understand. Like my comfortable place with him and my trust with him, it has nothing to do with me. It's about how he acts and what he shows me and what I know and what I, everything that I just take at face value because he shows it. He doesn't just tell me, his actions add up. Same thing with me. So sometimes we look at situations where it's like, you're constantly questioning this person because you know that you're doing something. Yeah. So it's like, ooh, they gotta be because I know I'm not just doing this for no reason. And it's just that unbalance in a relationship that just is not healthy at all.
Have y'all ever has either one of you ever posted a picture and y'all was like, take that down?
I've had to, when we first started dating, I had to let her know. I was like, all right, you got some pictures on your page. You need to.
Oh, well, yeah. Before we were. And that was really a rebranding thing for me, though. That was like a it wasn't like he just came out like, yo, so I don't like you doing this. I spoke to him and was like, so for my brand, this is what I'm trying to portray. Shameless started as something that was about women just being comfortable in their skin. So it's like, I had to show that in myself. Like, I'm comfortable showing my body and doing these things because I'm just a woman and whatever. And in the rebranding, it's like, what stuff should I post and not post, and how should I go about this? So absolutely, like, his opinion meant everything to me. And it was definitely stuff, because I mean, I had stuff on there where it was like just a cut of stuff, you know, or just even what a picture says, you know what I mean? Like, a picture can say a million words. So if you check my Instagram now, you wouldn't see anything like, you know, I still have pictures where it's like I'm in a bathing suit. If I did a shoot that like it's something that shows like some cleavage or a side boob, that is what it is.
I remember when I was in Miami a couple years ago, I took a picture in a bathing suit at the beach. And I'm thinking, like, it's girls out here with thongs on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fully clothed. Like, I mean, I had a bathing suit on. It was a regular bathing suit, but I didn't have a thong bathing suit. And I took a picture and posted on Instagram. And
better than up there now.
It damn sure ain't up there now. He was like, any reason why you posted that? I'm not, at that time, I didn't have a brand to try to portray anything. It was just like, I felt like it was appropriate. And I'm not, like, in my bathroom sitting on my seat.
I'm
at the beach. But he was like, no.
No, I mean, I still
person.
like, we be at home and I was like, so where's your bride? And she'd be like, well, this is not the type of shirt. I'm like, well,
you should make it
that type of shirt.
And then, but see, it's a difference when it's like, he says that because I know he's saying for my own, you know, well-being, where it's like, if you're with a dude and he just don't want no one else to have you, or he's jealous or manipulative, then it's like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. But it's like, with him, it's like, it's no problem. It's like, okay, he says, you know.
We only have time for one more question because I want to make sure y'all get out on time. Who is the oldest, I guess, who has the oldest relationship age? And I learned relationship age because when I came into my relationship, I was like a toddler. I was only in like a couple of relationships, but they weren't really serious. You know, we were young, whatever. But my boyfriend has been in other serious relationships, so he was more advanced into communicating and understanding a person, listening, and not doing certain foolish things. So who's the oldest? Because I know you're 1 year older than him.
I was going to say, that's funny because I've been in more relationships, but I'm not the person that's like, this is how, when you're in a relationship, you handle things, like, because I've been in bad relationships, unhealthy relationships. So he brings the wisdom to the table. He brings the healthy communicating, this is how you should do things, because he comes from a family that he was raised in a household where his mom and his stepdad, they were a strong unit and they were great parents to him, whereas my mom was always with this guy, that guy, and like it was abusive and whatever, and then all my relationships, they were just whatever. So I've had more relationships. He has the juice on how to do it the right way.
I mean, I think that, like, that's why waiting to taking sex out of a relationship is so important, because the foundations of all relationships are the same. So whether it's your parent, whether it's your child, whether it's your brother, whether it's your friend, the foundations of those relationships are the same. So through my relationship with my parents, I learned what love is. Like, I know that my mom, no matter what I do, the love will still be there. She can discipline me, she'll do stuff, but I understand what that love is. Understood how to communicate in a relationship when you love somebody and do those things. And really the basis of building a healthy relationship, even though the relationship with my parents or family wasn't an intimate relationship as far as like having intimacy, sex, anything like that. But the basis for a relationship I learned through that. And then I did have a situation in college to where it was one of the most life-changing relationships I've ever been in, because at that point, which sounds crazy, as a man, I realized I didn't know everything. So once I faced that reality,
hear that, guys?
It blew my mind, because that meant I can possibly be wrong about things, which then opened my mind to learn other things. Because if you think you know everything, you're not open to learn
at all.
And it's like, once you realize, okay, there's some things that I was wrong about, like mind blowing. It's like, I was so imagine being so adamant about something and then looking back and you're like, dang, I was wrong, but I was like, yo, this is the way that it needs, but I was wrong. And it was so humbling. So then from that standpoint, I was like, every relationship that I'm in now, or the next relationship that I'm going to be in, is going to be so much better and so much different, because I'm going to be able to sit back and learn it. Even with her, like, she'll tell me stuff or she'll say something, and I may be looking at it from some point, but then I'll think about it and be like, all right, maybe she's right. Like, maybe I need to take back and think, and all right, why is she thinking this way? Let me see it from her perspective.
Yes,
and it ultimately
that's important.
helps the relationship operate better, helps me communicate better, helps me to understand
Definitely
her.
being able to step outside of yourself and
That's
see.
huge.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. You guys have a great deal of maturity, especially to be so young. Like, you don't see a lot of that in relationships, because normally, like, most people who are like willfully abstinent, it's just like, you know, it's never when you're in a relationship. It's like, man, my phone dry, nothing popping.
Might as well be.
You don't even do it on purpose. You just look up 6 months go by, you ain't got hit. And you're like, wow. Wow.
One more quick question though,
That's cool.
because arguments are inevitable. That's in every relationship. One thing that I've learned is the recovery. How long who takes the longest to recover?
Right, because y'all don't have makeup sex. So it's like,
no,
how do y'all do this?
so here's the funny thing, like, we really don't argue. It's like Dre, and then it's like Bree.
Okay.
When it's like, again, it all comes from your upbringing.
Yes.
He knows how to communicate correctly. He can be upset about something and let me know in a calm manner. And me, I'm used to, if you have a problem, the way you deal with it is you be louder than the other person. You be more demanding than the other person.
We all have to
and you
unlearn
you
that.
wave your hands and you make a scene. And it took me a while, like, to get to the point where I had to understand, like, these behaviors are not okay.
Yes.
Just because this is what I know, obviously it doesn't make sense,
And
because
you're not the
it'll
only
just
one.
no, it's hard.
I feel
And
like
that's
most women have
a temper, and we get mad, and we're brats. Like, we have fits. So it's like, if there's something that I want and I don't get it, I act up, right? He's teaching me to actually go about it healthier, but we don't argue. Like, I can't even think of a thing since we started talking where it's like, oh, I was mad at him and I didn't talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's because a lot of times I try to control the conversation in the sense of the tone that it's at. Like, I'll always come to her, like, I never, like, erupt at her. I always take time to think, because every time I come to her, I want to be sure that, like, is it that big of a deal? Like, is it something that maybe I did to cause this and stuff like that? So then when I come to her, I always preface it and say, you know, I love you. Like, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to hurt you or feel any type of way,
That's
but this
how I
is
know
the
it's
way.
about to come down on me.
But then it's like sometimes she'll like, I'll say something or I'll ask something, and then she'll start going, and then I'll be like, you know, I just asked you a question. Like, that's all I did. I just asked you a question.
But it's like, if you come in with this voice tone, it's kind of hard to
Like,
be like, you just be like,
No, it's, and I
Like,
told
she
him
gets mad when the more calm I am.
I had
like,
to tell
she's
her
like,
that. I was like,
your
you're making
calm
me
is
feel
running against
like
her fury. Like, don't, no.
it's like you're, or it's like you're talking to like a counselor or a therapist. It's like, why are you trying to make me feel like I'm crazy for being upset right now? Like, why are you so calm?
It's not even like
But
voluntary though.
Oh,
It's just like, you're just like mad and you see red and somebody's just like, but I mean, you know, you're just like,
I mean, but I feel like the thing with relationships that a lot of people don't necessarily, it seems obvious. Like, a lot of things seem obvious, but you don't really take into account is that you're on the same team. So it's like, you're not against each other. Stop arguing or communicating like you're against that. Like,
it's hard.
Yes.
If
it's really
something that she's doing is bothering you, ultimately you guys want to be happy together. So it's like, let's come together and figure out a solution for this versus
but at the moment
trying
it's
to
like,
argue at each other. But that's what
Mm-hmm.
is tough, because I've always had that mindset. That's the way I was raised. It's like, talk through things, communicate. Like, I love you, so I'm not here to yell at you or to try to make you feel bad. It's like, all right, let's come. This is what's bothering me.
Yes.
Let's figure out how together we can solve this so that I can be happy, you can be happy, and we can move forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very, very dope and very effective.
Yeah.
You know.
get my usher gloves, because I would love to be an usher at y'all wedding.
Oh yeah, they'll be back on the show to announce that, I guess. One day.
Get my white gloves out, you know.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank y'all for coming too.
No problem.
absolutely.
Thank you
Thanks for
having us.
having
This is
us.
a lot of fun.
Very
Yes.
different perspective, though. Very different perspective, and it's something literally worth considering, though. Like, to be honest, especially like I'm so shocked, because you just think that you might see this in somebody who's like 40 and just fed up. Like, that's a really like dope, conscious decision to make, and you guys like seem to have the perfect, like, you know, kind of chemistry that goes together where you just on the same accord, and that's, you know, you got to respect that. At the
I
end of the
respect
day,
it a lot.
I have a better understanding because I was just over here like, how? How?
Yeah,
like, I don't understand how.
Yeah, so we sure you get these questions all the time, but I'm glad you came and shared this with us. Please go follow them on their social medias. Yes. Please go watch their video. It's going to be a series. So yeah, make sure you go check them out. Follow all of us. Follow the show, and we'll keep you posted on new things coming up. Stay tuned for all of the things coming up and the guests coming up. Follow our Instagram page. Thank you so much for watching.
I'm giving Sean a salute. He's not here. So
I know. Yeah, shout out to Sean.